This video is gonna be long. It's probably gonna be like 30 minutes, but according to Instagram, Insta Story Gang, y'all like long videos, so here y'all go. Y'all better get you some popcorn and watch the whole thing from start to finish. Alright, what's up guys? Welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to be doing a get ready with me and talking about how I got into photography and all of that stuff. So I feel like I get asked that a lot, and somebody asked me that on Instagram, so I figured why not talk and get ready for my gals and guys who want to watch me get ready. So I've already washed, just to clarify, I've already washed my face and like moisturizer and all that stuff when I woke up and brushed my teeth, all that. So that step has already been completed. So what's on my face right now is the Japanese skincare that I talked about in my last video, and some rose water, and then I put like chapstick on my lips because I just always keep my lips, you know, smackable. I think this is the first time I've done a get ready with me while talking about something else, so let's see how this goes. So first, let's talk about how I got into photography. So it's kind of a long story, so let me like backtrack. So when I was 18, 19, I really have lost track of the age of when this all started. I think I was 20 or turning 20. Yeah, something like that. So when I was 19 going on 20 or whatever, I was in college. It was like my sophomore year in college, and I wanted to, my major when I was in college, I wanted to be a nurse. I wanted to be a nurse my entire life. Since I was like in pre-K, like if somebody asked you what do you want to be, I wanted to be a nurse. When I was a little kid, my aunt, she was a nurse, and she seemed to be the most successful looking person in my family. So I was like, okay, in order to be successful, gotta be a nurse. Got it. So that's what I'm gonna do. So that's kind of how I decided that I was gonna be a nurse. So I'm gonna use this. I'm gonna use this cream contour palette. This is like my favorite makeup thing right now because it's so easy to use. You basically use all of this and you got it. Okay, so yeah, my aunt looked like the most successful person in my family, or seemed to be the most successful person in my family when I was a child. So that's why I decided that I wanted to be a nurse, because I was like, I want to be successful, you know. So I'm gonna be a nurse. So my whole life told myself, you're gonna be a nurse. I never thought anything different from that. Never tried to do anything different. Never said I was gonna do anything different. Never reconsidered that thought. I was gonna be a damn nurse, and that was that. So flash forward to college. I went to UT Arlington. I go to college, and I'm basically studying nursing, and I hated it. So I go to college and I hate nursing, and I'm trying to figure out a way to fall in love with it. I'm like, okay, do I hate it? Because I'm also a hands-on learner. I'm not like somebody you can give a book to study and then like I'm just gonna get it. Like I want to like get in there, and that's how I learn. That's how I learn anything, super fast. You just gotta let me put my hands on it. I might mess up a few times, but I'm gonna catch on because, you know, like that's just my personality. So the thing about nursing was you couldn't touch nobody, and I mean, I get it, we don't know what we're doing, so you shouldn't be able to like put your hands on nobody in a serious manner like that, like health related, and you don't know what you're talking about. However, it seemed like you had to study for like 3 years before you even got to that hands-on point. And like all the information that was pouring at us, anatomy, microbiology, like, and it just wasn't sticking. And in high school, I was pretty much an A-B student, like maybe some C's here and there, but I was pretty much good grades. Like I think I graduated high school with like a 3.3 or 3.4, something like that. So yeah, I wasn't like a 4.0 student, but I also wasn't like no DF student. So when I was like not passing these classes, I was stressed out. And I do remember I called my aunt and I was like, hey, this is not working for me. Like, I don't want to do it. And of course, her being the nurse, she's like, no, don't quit. Like, it's hard, yes, but it's gonna be worth it at the end. So like, I started, like, I had this deep feeling that like, I don't know, man. Like, at the time when I was like, this is too hard, I don't want to do this, I don't think I want to do this, and my auntie like kind of like was like giving me advice, like, don't give up because it's hard, like, you know, that's basically what she was saying. And so I was like, am I giving up because it's hard, or am I giving up because I really don't want to do this? And I battled with that question for another year. Like, I was like, okay, I'm gonna give it a go for another year, and I'm gonna try to go as hard as possible. And I want to know, like, deep down within myself, is this something that I really want to do, or am I like trying to quit because it's hard? Because I didn't want to quit because it was hard. So a year went by, and I was like to a point where I was like crying, like not every other week, but just like, no, it wasn't that often. It was probably like once a month, or like whenever I would just hit a bump in school. And I'm not a crier like that, or at least not in front of everybody. But even with myself, I don't cry that often. Like, that's one of the emotions that I suppress a lot. So I was crying, and I was like, oh my God, like, what am I gonna do with my life? Like, I was like, what am I gonna do? So I remember there was a day where I like was crying in my college apartment, and I was like praying to God, and I was just like, you know, like, not give me a sign, but just like, whatever move I make, I just want it to be the move that you want me to make. Like, whether it's stay in this major or change my major or whatever. I was talking to my friends, I was talking to my boyfriend, I was talking to my everybody, my sister. I was like talking to people, like weighing all my options. So I just remember one day, oh, and then at the same time, let me back up. At the same time, while I'm having these thoughts, I was also on Instagram, and I've been natural my entire life. I've never had a perm. So I was on Instagram, and my friend at the time, she was like, everybody's always asking you about your hair. Why don't you just like start a blog or something? So at the same time, while me considering this major was going on, I was also had just started my blog and was talking about my hair. And my blog at the time was called Natural Life of Me, my initials, Mark Evans. So I would share like little tips about my hair and all that. So while I was stressed out about school, this was like my outlet. And so my friends and my sister was like, well, you seem to be doing good, like you must like social media. Why don't you like get like a social media like degree, like communications or PR? So I hadn't even looked at any other majors ever in life until that moment. So I didn't even know what else my school offered besides like engineering, like, you know, the main degrees that I saw everybody have at my school. It was nursing, engineering, or social work. Those were like the top 3 things that everybody was like in. And so I was looking at all the majors. I looked up public relations, and I was like, this sounds pretty cool. So that night, I remember I cried, prayed, and I woke up the next day, and I went to the communications department, changed my major, and I never felt so free after I did that. And I didn't tell my family, like, I didn't tell the whole family. I told my mom and my sister, because those are 2 people who need to know. I told them, I was like, hey y'all, I changed my major. Don't really know what that means right now, but I'm just letting y'all know that the major has been changed. So after I changed my major, I kind of didn't know, what was I about to say? Okay, so I changed my major. So the day I changed my major, I felt like I was not turning into a new person, but like basically learning something new about myself. Because mind you, from age 4 to 19, 20, I'm gonna be a nurse. That's what I told myself. So now that I've changed my major and the I'm gonna be a nurse chapter of my life was over, I was like, okay girl, what we doing? So I just decided to like just learn stuff. I had accepted that I'm only 19, 20. I don't have to have everything figured out right now. Like, as long as I'm not disrespecting nobody or hurting nobody in the process, let's just try out life or whatever. So at the time, like I said, I had just started my blog. So since I changed my major and PR was my thing, I decided to just like, you know, play around with my blog a little bit. So I was like, well, this is only going to work if I go out and meet people and I go to stuff. So I started going to events, and when I would go to events, oh, back up. So my sister, she wanted to be a photographer, which was, this is the funny part. She's actually the one who wanted to be a photographer, but she wasn't like really sticking with it. So she gave me her camera. She was like, hey, I ain't really using this, but it seemed like you really into the YouTube thing, so here, take my camera. So that's when I started on YouTube. I jumped from having just a blog to actually starting a YouTube channel. So that's when I started my YouTube, and everybody would ask me like, how can I get my hair like yours? What do I need to do to get my hair look like that? I like your hair texture. Like, what do you do? What do you do? And that question was like kind of annoying me, to be honest. Only because everybody's hair is beautiful in its own way. And like, it's only not beautiful to you because you keep saying that it's not beautiful. Like, me being natural my entire life, it like I wasn't like a natural that transitioned or had a perm and cut it off and then like I have this magical stuff growing out of my hair. Not that that's the case for everybody, but I'm just saying, like, me being somebody who has seen curls in my hair my whole life, it was weird to me that people were like, not weird, but it was like, y'all, it's everybody's hair curl is not going to be the same. Nobody's head is the same as somebody else's head. It's not gonna work. So I decided to change my name from Natural Life of Me to Flaunt Your Fro. And that's how that name came about. Because my name wasn't meant to be like my name. My name was meant to be like a statement. Like, flaunt your fro. Don't try to flaunt my fro. Like, type of thing. But it ended up becoming like my name and not like a tagline. So that's when my YouTube channel started, and I started going to events around Dallas. I was like, if I'm gonna like branch out and see what I like to do, I gotta get out of my room. I'm not gonna figure it out in this room. So when I started going to events, I would bring my camera so I could blog about it when I got home. And this is where the photography part comes in 30 minutes later. But I started to blog about it, and I would take my own pictures so I could go home and blog. That's basically what I was trying to say. This is hard. Doing this at the same time, this is hard. By the way, this is NARS Radiant Creamy Concealer in the color Walnut. So I started going to events. I was taking pictures, not because I was trying to be a photographer, but so I could have my own pictures when I write my blog posts. And so whenever I would leave these events, I would send it to the event person and be like, hey, I was at your event, I'm a blogger, here's what I wrote, blah blah blah. Well, then the event planners would be like, I didn't know you was a photographer, like, why didn't you tell nobody? And I was like, what are you talking about? Like, no, I don't know what I'm doing. So that was kind of the first like ding, like, what? Like, and so then I kind of like ignored it, and then I kept going to events. The first event that I like got invited to for a media pass was the Bella Kinks Expo. And since that was my first event where I like that I got invited to, and that's actually where I met my friend Julian, because it was her expo. And so I started taking pictures there, sent them to her, and then she reached out to me, and we started working together like on social media and stuff like that. So things just started happening like really, really fast. And I was like, that's when I started making my first like money off social media, is like running another account. And then when I would go to events, I would take pictures at the event so I could post it on the account while I was there. But all in this time, I still was like, I'm not no photographer. Like, and so what kind of dawned on me is when I would go to events, and then my blogger friends at the time would either be like, hey, are you gonna be at this event? Or if I was at the event, they would be like, hey, oh, I'm so glad you're here, can you take my picture? And so that was like another like ding, like, why everybody want me to take their picture? Like, I still at this point was like, I thought this was just something everybody could learn, because I had, like I said, my sister had just gave me her camera 6 months ago. So like, I was just learning what was on YouTube so I could film myself at home. I thought this was just like a normal thing, like just go on YouTube and watch the videos, you could do it too. Like, and so it took me a while to figure out that this might be a talent that I have developed. So I think it wasn't until like a year or a year and a half later where people were asking me like, so how much do you charge because let me back up. So once I figured out it was like something I was good at, I started taking pictures at events, because that's what I started in. Like, I was taking pictures at events. That's how people figured out who I was. So I just kept it going and continued to take pictures at events. And then it wasn't till after the taking pictures at events that people would be like, so how much do you charge for like portrait sessions? And I'm like, what? I don't know. Like, so then that's when I started like, once I had decided within myself that, okay, this is something that you're actually good at. People are asking you for rates, so you must be good enough for that, for them to want to pay you. So what you gonna do? And at this time, I was still in school, still working full time. So I decided to just kind of like do it on the side. And because I was a blogger and I came from an industry of blogging and social media, that's really the field that I kind of wanted to stay in. So when I got asked about portrait sessions, I kind of shied away from it. So I started my business taking pictures of events and bloggers. And I remember like my first blogger session, I charged like $30, just because I wanted to make sure there was some type of exchange, like there was a little bit of an investment, because I was still learning. I understood that I was a beginner. However, I also understood that this was something I wanted to grow into a business, so I knew that I couldn't do that for free. Well, not for free, but it has to be some type of value exchange, but that's a different topic for another day. So yeah, so I started shooting like bloggers, I think like 2016, the end of 2016, I started shooting a couple bloggers. It wasn't a lot, it was like maybe 3. And then at the time, I was still making income from my own blog, my own YouTube channel, and by this time I had already quit my job. Yeah, 2016, the summer of 2016 is when I had quit my job. And I did not, just to clarify, I did not quit my job to pursue photography. I quit my job so I could finish school. Because where I was working, I was the bookkeeper at my apartment. And around that time of the year, we had to work the full month of August, no days off. Like every day of August, especially me, the bookkeeper, I had to work. And so with that, I was taking a summer class, and I wasn't going to be able to take the summer class and go to work. So it was either push my graduation date back again or quit my job. And so because I was making some money from blogging and stuff, and I saved most of it. I was like, you know what? I should be able to quit my job and at least use the money I saved to get through the end of the year. And I doubt that the money's just gonna stop all of a sudden. So at least with the income that I'm bringing in on the side, I can make it through graduation. So yeah, that's when I quit my job. I was like, I'm not pushing my graduation back again, because since I had changed my major, I basically had to start over as far as like that major and the credits. So I was supposed to graduate in 2016, and so my expected graduation date was now 2017. And I was like, God, I'm not finna be in school for another year, so bye-bye job. I'll figure it out. So yeah, I quit my job so I could finish school, and I just so happened to be making some money on the side through social media and blogging and my YouTube channel and working with brands. So yeah, so at this time when I had quit my job, I was working with I was still working with Julian, and we were working with brands like Sally Beauty, and I was doing like product photography and social media for those brands. And then I was still working with brands for my YouTube channel and stuff like that. And then I would also shoot events. So all of that together was bringing in my income that last year of school. So now flash forward to graduation day. I graduate from college. Woohoo, that's over with. And now I'm like, okay, there's this phase that people don't talk about enough when you graduate from college, because you have to remember, we're in school from like the age of 4 until whatever you decide to stop going to school. Like whether it be you graduate high school and you decide that's all you're gonna do, or you graduate with your bachelor's and you decide that's all you're gonna do, master's, doctorate, however far you want to go. But whenever you decide to stop, there is a 2-month, well, it depends on the person, because this phase could last as long as you let it last. But there is a phase where you get out and you could feel that you have a lot of freedom, but you really don't know what to do with it, because you never, up until this point, you never truly had full freedom to do what you want, because school has kind of been the center of our lives for the last 2 decades. So when I got out of college, when I graduated, I kind of had hit a low, not a low, like, but I did hit like a down, because I was like, okay, what do I do now? Like, I'm so used to going to school every day, and now that school is over, do I go get a job? Do I do this? Like, because a lot of people, nobody in my family is like entrepreneur. I mean, I take that back. There are entrepreneurs in my family, but when I say my family, I mean like my immediate family, like my mom, my sister, my auntie, my uncle, my grandmother. Like, everybody has a job. So it's like, do I go get a job? Because that's what I'm supposed to do. Like, you know, do I keep doing this? But if I do keep doing this, like, how long is it gonna last? Like, you know, all these questions go on in your head. And then you also feel like, okay, but I got a degree, so shouldn't I use it? Like, all this stuff. So I was kind of like, okay, I'm gonna go get a job. I got this degree, I paid for it, I should go get a job. But then at the same time, when I was looking for jobs, or trying to look for jobs, because I don't really think I tried that hard. But when I was looking for jobs, I was like, you know what? I'm not really feeling this. Like, I kind of have gotten accustomed to my lifestyle of creating my own schedule. So it took me like 2 months. I graduated in May. It took me like 2 months to be like, you know what? I'm going to stick to this photography thing and see where it takes me. But in order to do that, I have to sacrifice my apartment. So at the time, I had a roommate and we lived together, and our move out date that year was like July 1st or something. So I had already decided in June or May, end of May, that I was gonna go live with a family member. I am originally from Waco, Texas, but I do have family here in Dallas. So I ended up moving in with my aunt in July. And so I knew that if I was gonna do this full time or like try, I needed to keep my expenses super low, because I didn't want to be in a lease and not be able to make the rent. And like, that's like my biggest fears, is like, because of like how I grew up, single parent, I don't want to struggle if I don't have to struggle. If I have options where I can keep my expenses low, I'm gonna take those options. So I moved in with my aunt, and that is when my business was created. That is when I went from just taking side gigs to actually buying my LLC and becoming Marrica Evans Media, which is the official name of my company. But that is when I created my business and decided to take photography full-fledged. And yeah, from there, the rest is pretty much history. I basically, that's when I created my photography Instagram page. That's when I started kind of sharing, like, hey y'all, I'm a photographer too. That's kind of when I've truly accepted, okay, you're a photographer and you're pretty good at this. So I would say between 2015 and 2017, I laid low as far as calling myself a photographer. I laid low and kind of studied my craft and just tried out different things. I shot products, I shot events, I shot portraits, I shot bloggers. And so 2017, when I graduated college, is when I like felt confident enough to be like, okay, I'm good at this. I like this. I don't know, when did this stop recording? So my camera cut off, so I'm not really sure where it stopped. I hate when it does that. Oh, I hate when it does that. I started building clients really fast through Instagram, you know, and just posting my pictures and showing my work. And yeah, so that's basically how I became a photographer. I'm self-taught. I learned everything from YouTube and just trying things out and just getting, like, you know, being hands-on. Like I said in the beginning, I'm a hands-on learner. So the thing about nursing that really like bothered me was that we were thrown all this information in books, but we couldn't like do nothing. And I understood why we couldn't do nothing, because like it's the medical field, like you need to know what you're doing before you touch somebody. But at the same time, that wasn't my way of learning. I couldn't learn like that just by the book. Like I needed to read and apply. And so that's what I was able to do on my own with photography. Like I would watch a YouTube video and then I would go take pictures and be like, oh, okay, that's how that works. Or oh, okay, that's what that means. So whenever I felt like something wasn't coming out right, or I felt stuck in an area, I just would search it on YouTube and learn like that. And I still do that to this day. When I'm trying to learn new stuff, I just go on YouTube, try to figure it out. Then I just go out into the field and try it myself. And if it don't work, and then I just do it my own way, or I just be like, that's not my thing, that's not what I want to do. So yeah, that's pretty much my story. I'm not sure where the camera cut off. Hopefully it didn't cut off my whole spiel, because I did talk a lot. But this is basically the makeup look that I have created, and y'all are going to be seeing these braids all summer long, and they are long. Look, they go all the way down. They go all the way past my, like, almost to my thigh. Yeah, so yeah. Okay, so I hope y'all enjoyed this video. I get asked, so I know this video is gonna be long. It's probably gonna be like 30 minutes. But according to Instagram, Insta Story Gang, y'all like long videos. So here y'all go. Y'all better get you some popcorn and watch the whole thing from start to finish. But yeah, so that's basically my story on how I became a photographer. I think I pretty much hit all the bases as far as like my life and like all that stuff. So yeah, now that this video will be here, I can send it to everybody who asked me that question. So yeah, if y'all have any questions for me down below, comment them down below. Or if y'all have any, you know, oh, I forgot to put on mascara. I actually don't even like mascara, but I ain't got no lashes, so hold up. This is my makeup look. This is probably like my go-to basic, you know, whatever, whenever I'm about to go somewhere. Yeah, I just pick a color, put it on. This is probably not even blended, but you know, I ain't your makeup artist friend, okay? It's not me. But yeah, so comment down below if y'all enjoyed this. Comment down below, you know, anything, any tips, any questions, whatever y'all have. Pretty proud of myself of putting these videos out for you guys. So I hope y'all are enjoying them. And again, if you're new and you made it all the way to the end of this video, shout out to you. Make sure you subscribe because I have more videos coming, of course. All right, I'll see you guys next time. Peace. Live your best life. Less scrolling, more living, okay? And if you haven't got my shirt, make sure you pre-order it on my website. They will be shipping out June 1st. Actually, June 3rd. All right, y'all have a good one. Bye.